Hey guys, can you hear me? Hey guys, can you hear me? Say something in the chat so that way I know, like, y'all can hear me. Hey guys, can you hear me? Whoa. Alright, cool. So, let me switch over. Alright. Hi, Emma. Alright, cool. So, this is how class is going to be. Let me know when is a good time for y'all to do live streams. Like if you guys want to do it in the evening, if you guys want to do it at 10 a.m., 1 o'clock, like let me know what time y'all would want to do the live stream, all right? So let me go to our lesson for today. All right, so I'm going to leave it right here. I'm not going to put present, so that way we can see all the notes. Today we are going to use context clues in order to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. So you guys are very familiar with this. We've done it before. It's just keep doing it so that way we have practice, all right? I know STAR's canceled, but there's still STAR next year, okay? "3 a.m. Haha, you're funny. All right, so reading mini lesson. We're going to be reading The Circuit by Francisco Jimenez. You guys have the paper copy in front of you that was included in your packet. Again, I put it on Google Classroom if you guys want to look at the PDF version of it, okay? So, the background for The Circuit. The narrator of this story, a boy named Panchito, and his family are migrant workers from Mexico. Migrant worker families can never live too long in one place. They must go wherever the work is. They find jobs picking fruit and harvesting crops. Many children cannot go to school because they are working. The circuit in the title refers to the path migrant workers take every year to find jobs. All right, so as we read, we have to use our background knowledge and details from the text to make predictions. So, what do you guys think is going to happen in the story now that we read the background? Hi, guys. Go ahead and type something in the feed. What do you guys think is going to happen in this story? Guys, quit saying hi to each other. So, the background. I think what might happen is that this family is probably going to move, right? And it says that the migrant worker families move a lot. So we're probably going to be reading a story about a family moving a lot. Why do you have Barney as your background picture, Eric? Oy. Yes, Luis, it is about migrant life. All right, so on the bottom of the notes here, monitor your comprehension. Again, nothing new to you guys. It's all about pausing to make sure you understand what you read. So, monitoring comprehension means to clarify anything that you might have missed. So pause at the end of each paragraph and think about what you just read. So that's what we're going to do, all right? This is on the, first page of the story, but this is on your lessons. Okay, so we're going to switch over to here. Okay, cool. Oopsie. Okay, sorry guys. I'm still trying to figure out. There we go. Okay, so let me move my book out of the way. The Circuit by Francisco Jimenez. So we just read the background. Now go ahead and put, some of you said it's going to be about migrant workers, so whoa. Okay, give me a second, guys. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, I think it's going to do that every time I make a note. Okay, migrant workers, it's going to be about maybe a family moving. I would not suggest that you say anything inappropriate, Mr. Shadow Man. Okay, so let's start reading, or at least let me start reading, and we will annotate as we go. It was that time of year again. Ito, the strawberry sharecropper, did not smile. It was natural. The peak of the strawberry season was over, and the last few days, the workers, most of them braceros, were not picking many boxes as they had during the months of June and July. So we already have the name of our narrator. His name is Ito. Okay, he is the narrator. Okay. And that it's the peak of strawberry season, or at least the peak was over, right? And that the workers, who are called braceros, we're not picking as many boxes, right? Remember, the footnotes, you'll see them right down here. Okay. As the last days of August disappeared, so did the number of braceros. Sunday, only one, the best picker, came to work. I liked him. Sometimes we talked during our half-hour lunch break. This is how I found out he was from Jalisco, the same state in Mexico my family was from. That Sunday was the last time I saw him. So here Ito is talking with a worker, and that Sunday was the last time he saw him. So that means that they're about to move, right? I see I have 10 subscribers. Hopefully I can get, I don't know about 100 since there's only 79 students. Okay. Paragraph 3. When the sun had tired and sunk behind the mountains, Ito signaled us that it was time to go home. Ya es hora, he yelled in his broken Spanish. Those were the words I waited for 12 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, week after week. And the thought of not hearing them again saddened me. So here we see a big juxtaposition, which juxtaposition means, two things that contradict each other. So the narrator is saying here that he is waiting to hear Ya es hora. Well, before we continue, for my non-Spanish speakers, Ya es hora, if you look at the footnote right here, scroll down, and you'll see it right here, okay? Spanish for it's time. So the worker's saying that it's time. It's time for them to leave. So the narrator here is saying that he can't wait to hear these every single day, but he's sad that he's not going to be able to hear them again, okay? These are the two sentences that are contradicting each other. So it goes to show you how much he does not like moving. So this tells us the narrator doesn't like moving. Who are you asking about the PSN, Eric? And if it's me, I ain't gonna give it to you. As we drove home, Papa did not say a word. With both hands on the wheel, he stared at the dirt road. My older brother, Roberto, was also silent. He leaned his head back and closed his eyes. Once in a while, he cleared from his throat the dust that blew in from outside. So here we see that Papa is also sad because Papa's not saying a word. Oopsie. There we go. Papa's not saying a word. His older brother's also silent. So nobody is happy about the move. So no one I ain't gonna give you my PSN, alright? You can keep trying, but ain't gonna happen. Alright, paragraph 5. Yes, it was that time of year. When I opened the front door to the shack, I stopped. Everything we owned was neatly packed in cardboard boxes. Suddenly, I felt even more the weight of hours, days, weeks, and months of work. I sat down on a box. The thought of having to move to Fresno and knowing what was in store for me there brought tears to my eyes. So, this particular paragraph reinforces the idea that the narrator does not want to move. So this reinforces the idea that moving equals bad. Okay? And this also shows us that this happens often. Yes, it was that time of year. And where are they moving to? Fresno, which is in California. So every year he has to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this for 45 minutes. Well, we can keep going up until we finish the story, but we're just summarizing it so that way later on in the week, it's just easier on us because we already have it all annotated. Okay. A little before 5 o'clock in the morning, Papa woke everyone up. A few minutes later, the yelling and screaming of my little brothers and sisters, for whom the move was a great adventure, broke the silence of dawn. Shortly, the barking of the dogs accompanied them. So here, we just see that the only people that are excited are the little brothers and sisters, right? Because they're yelling and screaming. No, you don't have to stay. But this is just for people who want to follow along with the lesson, all right? While we packed the breakfast dishes, Papa went outside to start the carcanchita. That was the name Papa had given his old black Plymouth. He bought it in a used car lot in Santa Rosa in the winter of 1949. Papa was very proud of his little jalopy. He had a right to be proud of it. He spent a lot of time looking at other cars before buying this one. When he finally chose the carcanchita, he checked it thoroughly before driving it out of the car lot. He examined every inch of the car. He listened to the motor, tilting his head from side to side like a parrot, trying to detect any noises that spelled car trouble. After being satisfied with the looks and sounds of the car, Papa then insisted on knowing who the original owner was. He never did find out from the car salesman, but he bought the car anyway. Papa figured the original owner must have been important because behind the rear seat of the car he found a blue necktie. So, carcanchita is just, if you look down here, it is just an affectionate name for the car. I'm pretty sure your parents have affectionate names they've given their cars in the past. This paragraph particularly shows us that the dad takes pride in his car. Okay, we see that because he's spent a lot of time looking at other ones. He listened to the motor. He tried to detect any noises. And he insisted on knowing who the original owner was. Okay. Papa parked the car out in front and left the motor running. Listo, he yelled. Without saying a word, Roberto and I began to carry the boxes out to the car. Roberto carried the 2 big boxes and I carried the 2 smaller ones. Papa then threw the mattresses on top of the car roof and tied it with ropes to the front and rear of the bumpers. Okay, so basically they're just packing right here. Everything was packed except Mama's pot. It was an old, large galvanized pot she had picked up at an army surplus store in Santa Maria. The pot had many dents and nicks, and the more dents and nicks it acquired, the more Mama liked it. Mi olla, she used to say proudly. So here we see that the mom, her pride and joy is the pot, right? Just like the dad's pride is the car, right here, the mom's, she likes her olla, which is just Spanish for her pot. And for galvanized, if you guys want to know what that means, that just means a pot or dish that is coated in zinc in order to protect it, all right? I held the front door open as Mama carefully carried out her pot by both handles, making sure not to spill the cooked beans. When she got to the car, Papa reached out to help her with it. Roberto opened the rear car door and Papa gently placed it on the floor behind the front seat. All of us then climbed in. Papa sighed, wiped his sweat from his forehead with his sleeve, and said wearily, Es todo. As we drove away, I felt a lump in my throat. I turned around and looked at our little shack for the last time. So, darn thing. Okay. Oh my goodness. There we go. So, Papa's tired. Mama's trying to put the beans carefully. And the narrator feels a lump in the throat. So, basically, not everyone is happy. They're sad to be leaving. Except maybe the little siblings, right? No, I have not played Call of Duty Warzone. Alright. At sunset, we drove into labor camp near Fresno. Since Papa did not speak English, Mama asked the camp foreman if he needed any more workers. We don't need no more, said the foreman, scratching his head. Check with Sullivan down the road. Can't miss him. He lives in a big white house with a fence around it. When we got there, Mama walked up to the house. She went through the white gate, past a row of bushes, and up the stairs to the front door. She rang the doorbell. The porch light went on, and the tall, husky man came out. They exchanged a few words. After the man went in, Mama clasped her hands and hurried back to the car. We have work. Mr. Sullivan said we can stay there the whole season, she said, gasping and pointing to an old garage near the stables. So here we see really big segregation. What am I talking about? Well, Mr. Sullivan here lives in a big white house with a fence. There's a white gate, row of rose bushes. There's a doorbell, porch light, and what does this Mexican family have to go live in? An old garage near the stables. But Mama here doesn't really care because they found work, right? So, here you can see the segregation. But Mama is happy there's work. The garage was worn out by the years. It had no windows, the walls eaten by termites, strained to support the roof full of holes. The dirt floor, populated by earthworms, looked like a gray road map. So, not only is this a garage, this is a nasty garage, right? So, and this is where they're living. This is where their whole family's going to be living. There's no windows. The walls are eaten by termites. There's holes in the roof. There's a dirt floor with earthworms. So it's a pretty nasty place. You can copy what you do. You can copy what I do. This is to help us for later on in the week, okay? Because we're going to be using this text for the rest of the week, all right? So, that night, by the light of the kerosene lamp, we unpacked and cleaned our new home. Roberto swept away the loose dirt, leaving the hard ground. Papa plugged the holes in the walls with old newspapers and tin can tops. Mama fed my little brothers and sisters. Papa and Roberto then brought in the mattresses and placed it on the far corner of the garage. Mama, you and the little ones sleep on the mattresses. Roberto, Panchito, and I will sleep outside under the trees. So, not only is this a nasty garage, this is a very small garage, right? So, they're living in a small, nasty place. Small, run down shack. Early next morning, Mr. Sullivan showed us where his crop was, and after breakfast, Papa, Roberto, and I headed for the vineyard to pick. Around 9 o'clock, the temperature had risen to almost 100 degrees. I was completely soaked in sweat, and my mouth felt as if I had been chewing on a handkerchief. I walked over to the end of the row, picked up the jug of water we had brought, and began drinking. Don't drink too much, you'll get sick, Roberto shouted. No sooner had he said that than I felt sick to my stomach. I dropped into my knees and let the jug roll off my hands. I remained motionless with my eyes glued on the hot, sandy ground. All I could hear was the drone of insects. Slowly, I began to recover and poured water over my face and neck and watched the dirty water run down my arms to the ground. So the narrator got sick from drinking water here. Oop. Water. Yes, Mr. Corbett has left. You guys would have to, or your parents would have to call up in the school. I know they're trying to figure it out. I believe they got someone in there for you guys, so I'm not too sure about that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm on paragraph 19 now. I still felt dizzy when we took a break to eat lunch. It was past 2 o'clock, and we sat underneath a large walnut tree that was on the side of the road. While we ate, Papa jotted down the number of boxes we had picked. Roberto drew designs on the ground with a stick. Suddenly, I noticed Papa's face turn pale as he looked down the road. "Here comes the school bus," he whispered loudly in alarm. Instinctively, Roberto and I ran and hid to the vineyards. We did not want to get in trouble for not going to school. The neatly dressed boys about my age got off. They carried books under their arms. After they crossed the street, the bus drove away. Roberto and I came out from hiding and joined Papa. "Tienen que tener cuidado," he warned us. So here we have instinctively, and this is our lesson for today, figuring out what the word means. Now, if you guys know what it means, great, but we're going to practice using context clues to figure out the meaning. So let's go back to our lesson. Here, as readers, we encounter... So is this all we have to do today? Yes, this is all you have to do today for my class. So all you see right here, these 3 slides, these 4, it's just for today, okay? Monday's a little bit longer because you have to read the story, but the story will be used for the rest of the week. That's why we're going over the story today, okay? So, as readers, we encounter many words that we've never seen. It is our job as a reader to use multiple strategies to determine the meaning in order to understand what we're reading. So, if you guys notice, there's notes on the bottom to help us, okay? So, if you guys read the notes, inferencing is what we're going to use, is what we would have to use in order to figure out what the word instinctively means if we don't know. Okay? We won't use definitions or a synonym or an antonym or example, because if we go back to the story, there's no examples, there's no definitions, there's no synonyms or antonyms to help us figure out the word instinctively. We have to use, or we have to make inferences. Okay? So, what inferences can we make about that word? Well, I'm glad you Googled it, Lemon. Good for you. But on STAR test for next year, or even on just a regular test that you guys might have to take, you're not going to be able to have Google. So we use context clues to help us figure it out. Right now you have the luxury of Google, but later you won't. Let's see. Give me a second. Are we gonna have to do finals I am not too positive at this point. So the minute I find out something, I will let y'all know, okay? But for sure, Star got canceled. But for this year. Why what, Gabriel? So real quick, what inferences can we make about the word instinctively? How do you guys infer the meaning of the word besides Googling it? To do like teach y'all or to do the assignment? Yep, we make educated guesses. Of course, we use our context clues. So, but what specifically in the story tells us or helps us infer what that word means? Teach us. Well, this is so far the easiest because I can't be with y'all face to face because, Corona. So, this is going to have to be the more easier way to do this. Most easiest. So, we'll adjust if we need to. I can do Zoom. The only problem with Zoom is that not every student has access at home, computer access or internet access. So that's why YouTube is the more accessible option, especially for because most everyone has a smartphone, so they can watch it on their smartphones. All right, so yes, Ivan, Armando, and yes, so they hid in the vineyards, right? And they do it without thinking because they're acting on instinct. So, with those inferences, instinctively means prompted by or resulting from or as if from nature, natural, meaning it's unlearned. Okay? They do it instinctively. So let me write that down. So instinctively, they do it on command. Okay. Now, inferences, using inferences as a context clue, this one's a little bit more difficult because if you have definitions, it's easier because you can see the definition and it'll help you understand the meaning of the word. Synonyms are just another way to say that word. Antonyms, of course, are opposites. So inferences are a little bit trickier. How are you going to turn in work for Mr. Corbett? I don't know. That is going to be something that they're working on right now. All right, so let's go to back to our slides. Here is the Frere model. This is going to be your assignment. Now again, you guys can do it on the paper version or you guys can do it on the Google Classroom. Whichever one is easier for you guys. I will accept both. But if you do it on the paper, you can take a picture and send that to me. So the Frere model helps us extend our vocabulary knowledge. Okay, it helps break down the word so we can understand the meaning better. So all you guys have to do is fill in these boxes right here. So fill in the box right here, the definition for instinctively, its characteristics, meaning, you know, you would write maybe on command, you would write it's natural, a natural response. Examples might be, let's say, you instinctively, you know, after you learn how to ride a bike, you instinctively know how to ride one when you get older. So that could be an example. Non-examples would be, you know, not reacting to something. Okay? So that's all you have to do is fill this out for today. You guys finish reading the rest of the story. All right? It's only a little bit. It's only a page and a half. Okay, maybe 2 pages at least. It's not that much. It's actually a really good story. The end is really sad. It made me tear up. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. And I will be here most of the days, and I'll try to figure out a more solid time that we can do the live stream so that way more people can watch. How are we going to turn any of this stuff? So from what I understand is that every Monday your parents will turn in the paper packet and you guys will get a new packet for the next week if you're doing it on paper. If you're doing it online, which I suggest if you have computer and internet access, I suggest you guys do that, then do it online. But you're going to be turning in the paper version, I think, every Monday, if I'm right. I'll know more whenever they tell me more. But if your teachers have set it up like me where you can turn it in online, then I suggest y'all do that. Do you guys have any other questions before we stop the stream? We have about 40, let's see, we have about 4 more minutes. Henny wins in Apex. Not an educated question. But no, I've been so busy trying to prep all this stuff for you guys. Haven't been able to play anything. This coronavirus stuff is stressful, Ivan. I do agree. But as long as you guys wash your hands, keep clean, social distancing, then we should be all right. No, you do not have to turn in the packet today, no. All the work that is due, man, I wish I had the... Okay, so I'm going to go real quick. PSN. Hi guys. All right. So, let's see, classwork. All right, so here is the digital version of your packet that you guys got, okay? It has everything. So this is literally what you guys have in your hand. All of the assignments that are on it, so this is the assignment. This is the assignment for tomorrow. Let's see. This is the assignment for Thursday. All these assignments are going to be due next Monday. You guys are funny. So all of this is due next Monday. Now, you guys can turn it in if you guys want. You know, every day I'm going to be posting the next day's lesson. So tonight I'm going to be posting up Tuesday's assignment, so you guys can go ahead and do that. I'm going to be doing it day by day, so you can turn it in before Monday, but Monday is when it's all due. And all of this, guys, was literally what we were going to learn when we got back, if this all hadn't happened. Except now we're just extending out the lessons. So doesn't seem, so that's why today we're only doing reading. Tomorrow we're going to be doing writing. Yes, I'm planning on live streaming every day. Hopefully, if this is the best way I can, interact with you guys. I'm going to see about Zoom, if I can do that. I mean, I know I can do that, but the only problem is that not every student has computer access, so that's why I didn't want to do it on Zoom. Last question. All the papers that we got turned in on Monday, like for all the classes? Yes. So all the classes, all the assignments, from what I understand, from what they told me, they're all due Monday. So you guys can do it all in one day if you guys want. But I would suggest breaking it up because it is a lot. Well, when I say a lot, it's just because you have your 4 core classes, which is English, Science, History, and Math. And then you have your electives. So PE, band, AVID, whatever you guys have, art. So it's a lot. I do not suggest putting it off to the last minute. That's why I want to do these live streams, so that way we can follow along and you guys know you have English done. What does it mean by characteristics? Where are you seeing that? Hold on. Oh, on the thing. Characteristics. So characteristics would be like the characteristics of the word instinctively. So what are the things you think of when you hear that word? So one could be, let's see, maybe automatically. I don't even think I spelled that right. Maybe I did. No, I did not. Automatically is one characteristics. What's another characteristic? On command. Stuff like that. All right, so 45 minutes is up. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Email me, put it on Google Classroom, whatever. I will be here all day. Yeah, I'll post on Google Classroom if I can do Zoom. What I might do is do one on YouTube and do one on Zoom. So for two separate times. So for people who can do Zoom, I'll be there for Zoom, and we can, if you guys have webcams, we can, see each other and stuff. But I'll still do YouTube, so that way those without can still access. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. All right.